This daf yomi Yerushalmi Bikkurim in the article Oz v'Haradesh on daf Zayin Amud Aleph, the fifth line down, the last word in line. Actually, it's just a letter, Reish, the Reish with a apostrophe for Rabbi Yochanan, which is in the Vilna on Ches Amud Beis, and also it's the last word in the line, the fourth line down, spelled out in the Vilna, Rabbi for Rabbi Yochanan. And the Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan went to a certain place. I am Ben Azai of this place. This is something which it was like the Russian and Bavli is I forget who said it in the Bavli. Ben Azai B'Shuke Tveria. Evidently, it is Rebbe himself, Kiddushin, Tav. Okay, so he said, "I'm like Ben Asa." In other words, ask me any question. I'll try and answer it. So Asar Chad Saab, a certain older man came. Shirley asked him, "Amar Gidule Chuma." So the Gemara the Mishnah says in Chumas, the Perek Test Mishnah Dal Gedulei Chuma is like Chuma, but that's only the first generation. When you plant the Gedulim, whatever grows from them is actually Chulin. So are like Gedulei Chuma Gedulei Gedulin are Chulin. Avol Tevel and Meiser Sheni. But Tevel, some which has never been tight. Meiser Sheni, Meiser Rishon, Ustviche Shvis, those that the produce which grows wild during Shemitah, Uchumas Chutz La'aretz, and the Chuma of Chutz La'aretz, obviously more lenient than Chuma itself. Vamaduma, a mixture of Chulin, Chuma and Chulin, which is not butter, less than 101. Vabikurim, and Bikurim Gidulei and Chulin. And all these things, what grows them is chulin. So there it says in that Mishnah to Chumos that Taman Ata Amar Gidulim Mutarim. He said the Gidulim are mutar. But here in our Mishnah, Halacha Beis, it says Yesh Ma'asegum Shenkim B'Chuma Sha'Ma'asegum etc. Then we. Gidulin Asurin Lecho, and this is of course in the Nisrach Mishnayos, which is not in the Yerushalmi itself, but in the Mishnayos itself, and we added on we're in the Mishnah. So it says again there in Chum it says Gidulin Ma'aser Sheni Bikurim are mutar, and in our Mishnah it says Gidulin Ma'aser Sheni and Bikurim are usur. So how do you reconcile the Mishnayos? Amalei said, "Hey, them are Gidulin Mutarim." That would say that which grows with them is mutar, but Davar Shazara color, where the seed is rots in the ground. And the Tamar Gedulim Asur, that would say that the Gedulim are Asur is Bedavar She'ein Zarakala, is where the seed is not around the ground, such as stuff which grows from a bulb. And since it grows from a bulb, like garlic and onions, so therefore, well, actually, the Gemara gives the example. Go on Haluf, Vashum Babetzalim. Haluf, I always forget what Haluf is. Haluf is some sort of also relative of the onion family. Let's see if I can find it quickly. It's called arum. A-R-U-M. It looks a little bit like a lily. Anyway, so the aluf and shum b'tzalim, they all evidently, since like a calla lily, right? Obviously, it's a form of goes in a bulb. Anyway, so ba'aluf v'ashum b'tzalim chayim b'ikurim says, well, what are you talking about? How could it possibly be? Sakra Mishnah, where it says the Gedulim Mutarim talk about Luf, Shum, and Mutarim. Amrei said, Oza ben Azai Lacha. So the Rabbi Yochanan said, I'm Ben Azai. Evidently the elderly man said, oh well, Ben Azai here is gone. Also show Rabbi Yanai. So the But then Rabbi Yochanan went back and asked Rabbi Yanai, what's the story? How do you reconcile the Mishnayos? So Amalei, so he said, Lemaiser, here it's spelled Hushva, Hey Vav, Shin Beis Hey. The Gra changes the Girsa to Hushva, same pronunciation, but two Vavs instead of a Beis. Hey Vav, Shin, Vav, Vav, Hey. So he said, you're right. So basically, even though for Bikurim it's still difficult, but in terms of Meiser, you resolve the contradiction because you're right. The difference by Meiser is between Davish and Zarakola, Davish ain't Zarakola. Okay, so says Merchavot Shitas Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan seems to contradict himself, and here we have a little bit change girsa. Should say. Tamar Amr B'Shubin Levi, the Karna Shel Nevela Hushva. Again, the Gra changed the Girsa from Hushva with a base to Hushva with a Vav Vav. So there's a question: why is the Karen of Nevela, the one of Namatame Beheset, like as a Matami B'Masa? So let's see how it actually is in the Mishnah. Somebody who the Mishnah, let's see what Mishnah Kingdom says. Perak Av Mishnah Beis. Somebody who carries an avela and mechatos, which has a shear of that you can make as offering. Then Matame Begadim B'Maga, the person who's carrying them and his garments when he carries them. Since he becomes considered avatuma. That's let's see the word out. It's time to when he carries them. Okay, but when he touches the vela, it doesn't have status of avatuma l'tame begadim. Okay, so this is difficult from that which it says in Tosefta and Zovim. Hey, hey, somebody who touches the wool of the vela and mechatos, which doesn't have kedei hazoya, is metame begadim to metame ochlin umashkim as well. If he touches food and beverages, because no person who carries nevela and mechatos, it's metame begadim. And since it's not possible to touch these things without moving them, so then not just when he carries them, but even when he touches them, has the status of nose nevela and metame b'maga. So, okay, so that's contradiction. In one place in Kalim it says that only if you carry these objects, the nevela, are you considered to be matame begadim and being able to matame ochli mashkin. In the other place in Zavim, it says that even if you just touch the nevela, you were matame begadim and you were matame ochli mashkin. So how do we reconcile the Mishnah, the contradiction? The Yerushalmi Levi says that was just a kalim. That's about the torn of an avela, because since it's hard, it's possible to touch it and not move it. But if you touch that which it says in the Zavim, if you touch the wool of the nevela, since it's not possible to touch without moving it, it's metame b'kodim. That's what Gemara says. The reconciliation of the two Mishnayos is based on the difference between a horn on the vela, where since it's hard, if you touch, you don't necessarily move it, and the wool of the vela, which since it's soft, if you touch it, you necessarily move it. So Amar Lei, so Rabbi Yochanan said to Yerushalmi Levi, locate Ilfon Rebbe. Didn't Rebbe teach us? In other words, you yourself teach us. There's a change of gears here. So again, it's alright. It's looking for Rebbe. It says Reisi Kagrish Naim, but that's the gears they take out. The Gra takes out, and Rebbe Shleim, which goes to the Gra, and so that's going to change it too. It should be V'chasuche Begadim Shleim. Now in the Mishnah Kalim it says there are two cases in which your garments are saved. The garments are saved in the case of nevela and the case of mechatos. But a question like this: how can you say they're saved by both of them case of the Vela, you can say, okay, it's Karen Vela. There's no hesate, so you're not going to touch it. Not going to potentially doesn't move it, but by the Mechatos, if you touch the Mechatos, you're certainly moving way around. It's a hesate, Shemitame Mamasa. So that's the case. Again, the lashon of the Chasuche Bikkurim sounds like both of them are saved. That's Rabbi Yochanan's question. He said, Rabbi Shimon Levi, you're answering a nice answer on Avela. But it says, V'chasuche, plural. How can both be saved? And you say, but how you say answer only in Avela if only that saves only one, and the Mishnah's lashon is V'chasuche Bikkurim. They're both saved. Okay, it says, and that's what it says. For Amar Hacha v'Gidulein, and here the Rasul puts in the word Shnayim. So here too, we should have a problem because okay, you answered one, but it says in the Mishnah, in the language of Mishnah which we interpolated based on all the Mefarshim, B'Gidulein Asurim Yerushalmi. Both Gidulein Asurim Yerushalmi. Not just Meiser, also Bikkurim. So that answer, which Rabbi Yochanan seemed to accept, named Rabbi Yana here, which is, at least for Meiser Sheni, we resolved the question, right? It won't fly based on Rabbi Yochanan's question of Shimon Levi over there. Shimon Levi there answered one of the two questions, that Hesed is, there's no Hesed by Karen Karnash and Levela, but he didn't answer why is there no Hesed by Mechatos. And yeah, Rabbi Yochanan attacked his answer because it says Chasuche B'Godim going on both, not just on one of them. In both cases, the B'Godim not become Tameh. So here too, Rabbi Yochanan should not accept Rabbi Yanai's answer that it worked at least in terms of Meiser, because it says Kidulein, which is a language which is plural as well. Now the top of Yud Zayin Amalef we already did yesterday. We put it in. To the previous Gemara based on the Gra. So the old top of Yud Zayin Aleph from V'od Min Hadar to Rabbi Hila is taken out. Based on the Gra's Kirsa, which we followed, and Rabbi Hila is coming, and so that is in the art scroll, I should say, Yud Zayin Aleph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The ninth line. We skip down to the ninth line. In the Vilna, let's see what we skip in the Vilna. From the Chesam Beis, from the fifth to last line, till the first line on Tesam Rav, Rabbi Hila. So, Rabbi Hila, on that, Rabbi Hila say, how to reconcile two Mishnayos. Hey, time Gedulim is swing. That would say the Gedulim is Osar, is Rabbanim. And that which it says in that's our Mishnah. And the Hein the Tamer Gedulim Mutar, that which says Gedulim are Mutar, is Rabbi Shimon. That's kind of like Rabbi Shimon, who says in our Mishnah, Rabbi Shimon Matir. Okay, so there the Gemara goes on from there. I think though we'll stop here for today because we're already based on what we skipped pretty far down on Yud Zayin Amud Aleph. So we'll pick up with this tomorrow.